Let's sit for a few minutes of what I call informal meditation. We will first do 3 cycles of deep breathing and then recite this short mantra and be in deep meditation. Let's do that 3 cycles. Deep breathe out. Hold the breath out. Breathe in. Hold it within. Breathe out. Hold it out. Breathe in. Hold it within. One more last cycle. Breathe out. Hold it out. Breathe in. Hold it within. Om Sachidanand. Om Sachidanand. Om Sachidanand. Om Sachidanand. Om Sachidanand. Om Sachidanand. We may now gradually open our eyes. Namaste and welcome to our session number 7, Patanjali meditation. In our discussion on Patanjali Yoga Sutra, we have covered a part of chapter 1, Samadhi Path, and now we begin second chapter called Sadhana Path. Today we are taking two of these statements, first and second, from chapter 2. As I have tried to explain, chapter 1 is on Samadhi Path for very superior minds, where the chitta, the mind skin, has no ignorance, no clash. He didn't define it that time, which was introduced in fifth statement of first chapter, but now he is mentioning it again in the second chapter. So let me read out the first statement. Tapah swadhyaya Ishwar pranidhanani kriya yoga. First chapter, second statement was yoga chitta vetti nayodha. He defined the term yoga, and now he is defining another term called kriya yoga. And what is it? It is a three elements put together. Three elements of tapa, swadhyaya, and Ishwar pranidhan. You remember Ishwar pranidhan is something we discussed at length, which was in first chapter. So Ishwar pranidhan is very common term here for yoga, and today we are seeing in kriya yoga, and we will see a few weeks later in Ashtanga yoga also. So I should point out Ishwar pranidhan is a common factor in yoga, kriya yoga as well as Ashtanga yoga. Besides Ishwar pranidhan, tap and swadhyaya. Let me read out my translation. Tapa, I am translating as austerity or penance, a hard effort, where you don't deviate from your effort irrespective of the external forces, whether it is day and night, it is raining, or you are, there is something happening at home, things like that. You still attend to this class. That will be characterized as tapa. Swadhyaya is self-study, and Ishwar pranidhan I have translated in the past as well as love and surrender to Ishwar, that infinite spirit in the universe. So the statement is austerity, penance, self-study, and love and surrender to Ishwar, like a small child has to his mother. That's a good example. This all three elements put together, they form what is called kriya yoga. I'm now hinting here, compare with practice and enunciation. So kriya yoga sounds different. It is different from yoga, which he has covered in the first chapter, but still there is a lot of correlation. In first chapter we looked at a statement called Abhyas Vairagyabhyam Tannayodha. Abhyas and Vairagya, which I translated as practice and enunciation. So if you look at it, practice is like doing something, and enunciation is understanding and then becoming so mature that you renounce the objects of worldly pleasures, isn't it? So that is also gaining some higher level of understanding, knowing something. So that Practice and enunciation compares with what is being stated here is tap and swadhyaya. Tap is effort and swadhyaya is self-study to gain new knowledge. So basically, in Vedic philosophy, a human being has threefold, threefold functions. Karma is activity, jnana, acquisition of knowledge, and upasana, being with that cosmic spirit. So these three functions of a human being, and that's what differentiates us from other species, animals, and birds. They are only interested in karma and jnana, outgoing action, incoming knowledge, isn't it? They have also five senses, and they also have, they walk and run and speak in their language, things like that. But humans are different from all millions of species that we can disconnect or being our instruments of body and mind thoroughly inactive. That is what we do in meditation, and then be in union with that cosmic spirit. That is called upasana. So you will see in this philosophy, always there is a shadow of these threefold functions: karma, jnana, and upasana. In chapter 1, it was in terms of abhyas, practice. Jnana was like vairagya, enunciation, and upasana was Ishwar Pranidhan. Now in Kriya Yoga, we are saying the terms are tapa, austerity, penance, swadhyaya, self-study, and again Ishwar Pranidhan for upasana. Second statement of his in second chapter is, now he's saying, having defined Kriya Yoga, he's saying what will you benefit from it? What will happen if you master in Kriya Yoga? He says, Samadhi bhavanartha klesh tanukarnarthascha. He's stating twofold benefit. He's saying Samadhi bhavanartha. The first chapter was titled as Samadhi Path. So he's saying, let me first read the translation. Second point 2 says, Kriya Yoga leads to initiation into communion samadhi. You get qualified for samadhi path. You raise your level that you are now beyond dhyan and go into samadhi. So, you know, even in Ashtanga Yoga, we have yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. Dhyan is, we translate as meditation when we are inactive thoroughly with mind. Samadhi is, then I disconnect from my mind and now I am with that infinite spirit. So that is being united with this infinite spirit of Ishwar is Samadhi. So he is saying you will become qualified for Samadhi, become interested in Samadhi, and chapter 1 will become more relevant for you. But how will that happen? By way of and diminishing of ignorance, diminishing of clash. So clash is what has brought me slightly different from the superior people of first chapter. Now that clash will be diminished gradual. So Kriya Yoga leads to diminishing of clash, and that in turns makes you qualified for samadhi. Chapter 1 was titled as Samadhi Path. The term path means a quarter. So this particular book has 4 chapters, 4 quarter. So each chapter is called Samadhi Path. That is the first quarter. Now we are into the second chapter, that is called Sadhana Path. Third chapter has a title Vibhuti Path. Fourth chapter is called Kaivalya Path. So in this entire course, now we will go through the second chapter only and very small part of the third chapter. And as you know, even in first chapter, we covered only first half of it. So, we are trying to balance with many other things. So this is so much for our today's discussion on Patanjali Yoga Sutra, where we are tentatively translating Klesh as ignorance, you know, that I am not ignorant, I am not aware of certain true knowledge. And that itself is cause of pain. So this is what we have seen in the early part of the course also. But next week when we meet, then we have statement number 3 to, I will say, up to 9. So 7 statements will be coming. They will be what the nature and more detail about clash. So we will postpone it for the next week. Today I am in the attempt to improve our meditation practice, I am introducing some small what is called pranayam mantra. There are 7 of them, very short ones. If I recite them, you will see that they are very simple. 7 new terms are coming to you, and maybe some of you are familiar with some of those terms. Let me recite it. Om Bhu, Om Bhuva, Om Swah, Om Maha, Om Jana, Om Tapah, Om Satyam. There is a prefix Om here, O-M-O. This should not be confusing. Let me say a few words. Now, when we have this term Om in any mantra, we just recite it as Om. It begins from the throat and ends with the lips, isn't it? It is a typical vowel sound O, typical, which is in Sanskrit grammar is plut sound. So there are 3 kinds of vowels by the amount of time that we are taking to pronounce them. Hrisva, Dig, and Plut, meaning thereby short, long, and extra long. So there are some vowels like A, E, U, they are short vowels. Then there are like A, A, O, they are long ones. So O is of this category. But you remember when we sit for meditation, then our step number 3 is instruction to mind. We have 5 steps: body posture, deep breathing, instruction to mind, then focusing at the third eye, focusing the mind, and then walking into the cave. Then I am in meditation, isn't it? Sanskrit terms are asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, and dhyana. So in the third step, when I instruct my mind, we again take recourse to this sound. This sound then is Om, but it is slightly different. It is the vowel is in the plut category, extra long. But extra long doesn't mean too long. I have given you certain examples, like when you meet somebody, you just say hi. But if you meet somebody who is very close to you, probably you will say hi. It becomes slightly longish, the vowel. Or I give an example from Indian setting, the chai wala at an Indian railway station. Typically the word chai is chai. If somebody is close to you, you will say chai pijiye, something like that. But at an Indian railway station, the chai wala will say, he is shouting. He is conveying the word for a long distance and he wants to have greater impact. So he will say chai. So both the vowels are now becoming extra long, isn't it? That is the plut sound. This is very natural sound. So you don't have to go out of your way. It's very simple. You initiate it at the navel region. This simple Om is initiated from the throat, Om. When you begin it from the navel region, this vowel is becoming extra long. That is what Patanjali called Pranav. Tad japas tasya vachaka Pranav. So Pranav is the name of the sound when this Om is recited with Plut Dhvani, the extra long, which is very simple. We just initiate from the navel region, it becomes like Om. Typically, it will take 3 seconds. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Not longer than that. Less than that, actually. But it's just say, I will say, rather than saying 1 second, I will say 1 unit of time, 2 units of time, and 3 units of time. So 3 times what a typical O will take, 1.5 times what this Om is taking. Om. What this O took, that will take slightly longer than that. Om. Come back to this pranayam mantra. 7 new terms for you, but now we will be using every day. So you will become familiar with them and you will be able to, memorize them also. Just their brief meanings, the word bhu. These are 7 names for that infinite spirit, what is called Ishwar, that has hundreds, thousands of names based on attributes, functions, and so many things. What he does for us, so on and so forth. Who is, he is ever existent, isn't it? That way we are also ever existent, our soul, but not as this human form. I took birth on a certain day, and there will be a day when I will die as well. I will go away. So we exist in this particular form for a finite time period. Otherwise, the soul is immortal, which is ever existent, just the way that entity is ever existent. But very interestingly, though we have been in this world for some years, we are we have an instinctive feature that is called survival instinct, isn't it? Nobody educates us, we don't go to school or college, but even if I have not had any formal education, I am embedded in my mind with this survival instinct. If something is happening at the other corner of the hall, say there is fire or something, we all will rush away from another door, isn't it? We all want to live, we all want to survive, and that is survival instinct, which he has programmed in our mind, that is embedded in our mind. We don't think and decide, it just happens automatically. That's why it is called instinct. So, this is his characteristics of Bhu that he has imparted to us in part. Bhuva, he is untouched by pain. He doesn't have any, his status doesn't deviate from any pain or suffering. He is just absolute blissful. That is the another term which is coming next line. But that is also having a meaning that he is untouched by anything that can disturb his state of blissfulness. But we do go through ups and downs of life, and sometimes we go through a painful experience. But then also it is interesting, he has imparted a part of Bhuva to us that whenever something is painful, I get away from it. I intend to get away from it. Even a small child, we might not have educated him, but if his finger goes into flame, he just removes it, isn't it? It is instinctive, something within us, that we are always wanting to get away from anything that is painful. So he is blissful, he is always in that saturated state of absolute pleasure, and of course, we are also keen, we also desire that, and that is the basis of upasana, being with him, so that I have a taste of that, what is called absolute pleasure, which is something at the top of the line, at the summit. Once you have had that, then you don't desire any other kinds of pleasures in life. So that is why upasana or meditation is so important, because unless and until you have had this, you go after all kinds of sources, objects of pleasure. So this is the most superior thing, and once I have had a taste of that, I feel some kind of fulfillment in my life, that there is no more that vacuum. And that's what our rishis have pointed out, that Upasana is so important for us. Then he has four more names. Maha, he is infinitely great. Nobody can surpass, not even equal him in any of his attributes. Jana, he is creative force, infinitely great. He creates the universe, and we are also partly interested in creativity. We have a lot of intellectual and creative activity. We also give birth to our children, and very interestingly, we want to bring them up, make them better than what we are. It is very instinctive in a father or mother to see a child overtaking him, isn't it? I feel good if my son overtakes me. There is absolutely no envious or that sort of a feeling that he is going above my line, the line I had drawn. That is our superior creative power, that we want to create something even better than what we are. That's what Vedic message is. Mano bhava janaya devyam janam. You be at least a human being, but give rise to devatva in your life and also in the children's life. Om Tapa, we have just now discussed this word. Tapa Swadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhana Nikiya Yog, penance and austerity, which is he is in the supreme as far as effort is concerned. And Om Satyam, he is the truth, and that is what is the truthfulness. There is absolutely no illusion when we are in company of his or in communion with him. We get, that's what is intuitive cognition. Sampajyat samadhi. When I am with him, I get a flash of true knowledge. So these are 7 new terms for us that are reflecting his, that Ishwar's different characteristics, and we are here taking them as what is called pranayam mantra. Why are they called pranayam mantra? We will now see it, because our step number 2 is pranayam, and today we are improving our step number 2 by integrating pranayam with these mantras. So if you remember, in our very first session, we did pranayam as a 2-phase cyclic process. Exhalation, deep exhalation, making a kind of vacuum in our abdomen and then filling it up. Exhalation followed by inhalation. The Sanskrit term was rechak and purak. Then there came a time, I think in 3rd or 4th session, we modified our step number 2. We said now we will do 4 phases in a breathing cycle. So it became like exhalation, then holding the breath out, meaning we maintain the vacuum in our abdomen up to the point of slightest discomfort. Of course, that moment will be different for all of us, so it is for you to decide when you do it at home. But when we do it collectively, I try to do it for time duration that none of you will be disturbed, so that we are all in our comfort zone. But the guideline is you hold the breath out until the onset of that slight discomfort. Maharishi Dayanand says, Bechani hone lage tab. That is his words in Satyat Prakash. So that is what I am translating as onset of slight discomfort. Until then, you hold the breath out. The Sanskrit term for second phase is Bahya Kumbhaka. Kumbh is a vessel, so as if there is an imaginary vessel in which you are holding your breath outside. Bahya means the vessel is outside. Then comes the third phase. You draw in the air, breathe deeply, and at that time your abdomen is expanding outward. You fill up. All this happens should in one uniform wave. It should be in a streamlined manner. It should not be like a jerk. Let me go in my webinar room so that this is a good opportunity to review our breathing. Of course, I will now add the pranayam mantra also. So what I mean is, let me do the let me do the breathing cycle with 4 phases. So here it begins, breathe out. So what I'm trying to say is, if I put my finger ahead of my nostrils, there should be a uniform air coming out of the nostrils. And the abdomen is shrinking inward. Let me do it now again. I'm not sure if you can see me closely, but now I will do the same thing in a wrong manner. In a wrong manner, what I will do is the breathe out, which is the rechak I am doing, namely the first phase of the breathing cycle, I will do I will say, uh, in 2 jerks, I will do it. I will do it in 2 jerks. I hope you will be able to notice it. I was doing it one way and then I applied the force again to add it up as if I want to remove air in a more efficient manner, but I don't think that is the right way to do it. You should do it in a one way that uniformly the air is coming out neatly. So there should be one streamlined flow of air. It should not be activated by another jerk. I hope I am able to convey it to you. The same thing should apply to the third phase also when I am taking in the air. Doing inhalation, now I think doing inhalation, you can better see how I do the wrong manner. Let me do the right manner first. The Purak, the third phase, I am doing deep breathing. This is right manner. Now this will be the wrong manner. Look at my nostrils then. I am adding the force again. That is not the right way. You should do it in a one uniform flow. This is the right way. And let the body do in natural manner. In the rechak, in the breathe out, your neck, your shoulder will probably, go forward slightly as you are trying to evacuate your abdomen. And when in phase 3, when you are filling up, your shoulders, etc., will go in this manner because you want to fill them up. All this is very natural. And when I'm talking very natural, even when you are in deep meditation, that is step number 5, if you see your body is not cooperating, you feel some pain here and there, make adjustment. Don't live with that pain, because our objective is not the body posture has to be maintained for that. Our objective is the body posture should facilitate meditation. These are very important things that at the end my goal is to be in meditation, disconnect from body and mind. So let me now, the improved version of pranayam, step number 2 from today on. So that is the way it is. I should show you back to the slide here. I didn't point out that I had drawn a line there. Let's see. I go to the slide again. I did not mention why I drew a line here. There were 7 mantras, but there is a group here. The first group is only 3 of them. First 3. Om Bhu, Om Bhuva, Om Swa. Then the second group, please don't misunderstand. Second group is all 7 of them. It's not the letter 4, all 7 of them. Now we come to the improvisation. I think I don't have to go into the webinar room. Yeah. Let's just follow it. I think everybody will understand. I am now demonstrating the pranayam mantra integrated with our step number 2. So here it is. When I am in the second phase, mentally I recite. So we all recite it mentally, but just for sake of demonstration, I will be reciting orally, but otherwise I have indicated here, this is to be recited mentally. And in phase 4, when I am holding the breath within me, we recite all 7 of them. So in phase 2, we recite the first 3 of them, and in phase 4, we recite all 7 of them. And now there is a remark I should make that yes, it is very natural that when we are in phase 2, the time duration when I am maintaining the vacuum in my abdomen, that time duration is short because I am without air. So the system is gasping for air. But when I hold the air within me in the phase 4, this is of a naturally longer duration, and that is why there are 7 mantras. So the phase 4 time duration is typically 2 or 2.25 times longer than phase 1. But again, I say here, this should be very natural. Suppose you are here in phase 2, you have recited 2 of these 3 mantras, and you have that onset of discomfort. Then you don't have to forcibly recite the third. You just move on to the phase 3. Similarly, you are in phase 4, you have recited, say, 5 of them up to Om Jana. Now there is an onset of discomfort. So you move on to the phase 1 of the next cycle or next step of the meditation process. So that's where we are. A couple of remarks from Maharishi Dayanand on pranayam. Deep breathing to be integrated with the pranayam mantra. This is his words in Satyat Prakash. He is saying Samantak pranayam. So I have borrowed his hint from there and integrated it. He says elsewhere, one should perform pranayam for minimum 3 and maximum 21 times. So this is something I had not indicated these figures in the previous session, but today is the right time. So pranayam, the step number 2 in our 5-step approach to meditation, should not exceed 21 pranayam and should not be less than 3. You might have noticed I have never done less than 3 pranayam because the hint is coming from these words from Maharishi Dayananda. Okay, a couple of remarks. General format of the sessions, we have discussed it last week, and just mentioning here, qualitatively that is same, but quantitatively now we are entering into, I will say, phase 2 of this course when we have started with the second chapter. So we are laying more emphasis on meditation. So what we start with, the so-called informal meditation, as you might have noticed today, we devoted about 10 minutes to that. Then the Yoga Sutras, then some discussion here by way of improvisation or something like that. Towards the end, we do what is formal meditation, and now we will be, it used to be about 10 minutes, maybe 8 to 12 minutes, something like that, but now we'll try to do it 15 to 20 minutes. Again, when I say this, I am slightly conscious about, because every human being is unique in this journey of meditation. We have about 100 plus people registered for this course. I will try to classify them, not classify, I will say they fall in one of these 3 levels, I will say. Level 1, because you see, I give a lot of emphasis, meditation as void of thought, when mind screen is absolutely blank. That I call as blank or blind spot. So I will say level 1 is one page, those people who are very comfortably reaching into that blind spot. And when we sit for 10 minutes, 12 minutes, I will say about 2 to 5 minutes or 10 or even more than that, in those blank moments. Level 2 is that they are those people who take time to go into that and they do each there, but sometimes it happens in 10 minutes later, sometimes 12 minutes later, 15 minutes later. They will benefit from our this. Even level 1 will benefit. Now they are more likely to reach that spot in our sitting of meditation. But there is third level, they haven't yet seen what is this blank spot. They are still struggling in their mind. There is continuous bombardment of thought waves, and they just have no idea how to get rid of them. They don't even seem to believe us that there can be something like a blank. I am very, and there will not be many, I will say 5 to 8 people among 100 plus. Very few people, but we want to take them also along with us. So they will find it difficult as I increase this time duration. If it was 10 minutes meditation, they were struggling for 10 minutes. Now they may feel, oh my God, we have to be in such a difficult phase for 15, 20 minutes. It will be very difficult for them. But for them, I want to give them a hint. If you are in the level 3, devote more time. Of course, when we sit here together, we are all together. But 6 days a week, when you are at home, even if you sit for 20 minutes, 15 minutes meditation, give more time to step number 2, namely pranayama. That is why today I have given you that number. Do more of pranayama, but not exceeding 21 minutes, 21 breathing cycles, because that pranayama will help you. Because doing step number 2, pranayama, your mind is focused on breathing. So that's a good training for your mind, that you get away from the worldly thoughts and you are focused on one. Of course, meditation is one step beyond that. It is absolute nothingness. So from one thing to nothingness, that jump is difficult for some people. That is why we discussed all this. Let's now move on to our today's meditation, where we do, again, sorry, but I am setting an alarm, taking slightly, maybe 3 minutes extra. I hope you won't mind it. So 10:48. So 10:48, that gives us a straight 15 minutes. So please take your body posture, Sukhasana or Siddhasana, whatever you are comfortable with. Shake away stiffness from your neck region, shoulder region. And I think this is the right time for me to go to the webinar room. So shake away your stiffness from neck and shoulder region. Just take care that your lower back, shoulder, neck in a straight line, but it should not be painful and not so stiff, very relaxed. At each body junction, you should feel relaxed. Your hands can be on the knees or one palm above you, another palm or fingers are interlocked. Just be sensitive to your body signals and make these corrections even in the later steps. As I said today, even when you are in meditation, but if there is a body signal, please attend to it. Now we move on to the step number 2. 3 cycles of deep breathing, 4 phases in each cycle, integrated with pranayama mantra. I will be reciting orally, but you will do it mentally. Deep breathe out. Om Bhu, Om Bhuva, Om Swa. Breathe in. Om Bhu, Om Bhuva, Om Swaha, Om Ma, Om Jana, Om Tapa, Om Sa. Breathe out. Om Bhu Om Bhuva Om Swa. Breathe in. Om Bhu Om Bhuva Om Swa Om Maha Om Jana Om Tapa Om Sa. Breathe out. Om Bhu Om Bhuva Om Swa. Breathe in. Om Bhu Om Bhuva Om Swa Om Maha Om Jana Om Tapa Om Sa. One more last cycle. Breathe out. Om Bhu Om Bhuva Om Swa. Breathe in. Om Bhu Om Bhuva Om Swa Om Maha Om Jana Om Tapa Om Sa. Let's recite that sound, Pranav Dhwani, 5 times together. Om. Om. We may now gradually open our eyes. That was our session number 7. Thank you and see you next week.